So it's like, I always say, it's like an injection. You inject yourself with high frequencies. So at the end of a session, you're living in a higher frequency than before. Yeah. And so you start automatically attracting different things in your life. Through my affirmations, through my words, I will guide the people into the pain or into happy moments, depending on what struggle they have. So that with my voice, I guide them and they see an AI, and you feed it with a lot of information about yourself, about your current problems, about the challenges, and you put it all in a system. I think this is in the future. You can release suppressed emotions, you can heal from traumas, and you can get into non-ordinary states of consciousness, expand your consciousness, reprogram your subconscious mind. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
In this episode, I will be speaking with Bjorn Stubner. Bjorn is a breathwork facilitator, mental coach, and ultrarunner. Passionately believes in the transformative power of breath. With 6 years in IT, including roles at corporate, he left his job in Munich in 2021 to pursue his mission of guiding individuals towards inner peace through breathwork. Now settled in Barcelona since April 2023, he creates safe spaces for people to shed stress and anxiety, reconnecting with themselves. Enjoy the conversation. Maybe just one thing. If you enjoyed the episode, please give it a like at the end or a comment and follow our channel. This way we can reach more audience, impact more people, invite more interesting guests in the podcast that talk about more interesting topics. Thank you very much and enjoy the episode. Welcome in the Awake Insights, Bjorn.
Thank you so much for having me.
Reading your bio, it's very clear that we're going to talk about one topic, but maybe also some other ones, but like one main topic, and that's breathwork.
That's a good one. Yeah, it's a good topic. I think a topic that more people should know about, and because it's a diverse topic. Many things people don't know about this yet, even though it's more coming.
Exactly. Maybe let's start off by explaining what breathwork actually is for people that have never heard about it. Mm-hmm. I mostly hear that breathwork facilitators say that, okay, we are not conscious enough about our breaths. We don't breathing the way we should breathe. So explain a little bit more what it is and how we should breathe better.
So in general, breathwork has everything to do with our breathing. So on one hand, our everyday breathing, how we breathe in our everyday life, but also in other situations. So basically, it's first the awareness of breathing. How do we breathe? Maybe what's wrong with the breathing, and then using different kind of breathing methods to improve in general our emotional, physical, and spiritual health. So it's all around our well-being, to have a better life, healthier life, with more energy.
Exactly. So it goes much further actually to learn to breathe better, because I think that's what I learned also a long time ago. We have to breathe more from our belly, not breathing from our chests, because a lot of people breathe or learn to breathe from their chest actually also because of stress, and then you have more shorter breaths and everything like that. But what you say is actually with your breath you can do much more things. You can go much deeper in your emotions, feeling more into your body. So let's unravel that a little bit more actually. So how did you find out about this methodology, or how do you call that, tool? Mm-hmm. And what is the science behind that?
So my journey was quite interesting, because before, as you said, I was working in the IT industry, and within this time I was already looking for things for my personal development. So I did yoga, I did some breath work, I did Wim Hof breathwork, and I found this pretty cool because I combined it with ice baths and cold showers and this stuff. So I thought, hey, this is breathwork. And then I went on my journey to really become a new version and to achieve different things in life. And after my yoga teacher training in Colombia, I went to Mexico, and then I was gifted a book about breathing by a woman, in a hostel. And I found this super interesting. And then I was like, wow, I would love to learn more about breathing, because we breathe every single day, and we, like you already said, we really have struggled with breathing. So I said, okay, I'm going to look for a breathwork facilitator training to learn more about the function of breathing, different breathing techniques that we can use in our everyday life to improve the quality of our lives. And then 2 weeks later, there was this breathwork facilitator training happening in Tulum in Mexico, where I was staying at this time. And I quickly read through without really paying a lot of attention what's the course really about. Because I was like, okay, it's breathwork, yeah? How can it be so different? So I signed up right away, and then I was in the course, and then the instructor started talking about, by breathing, you can release suppressed emotions, you can heal from traumas, and you can get into non-ordinary states of consciousness, expand your consciousness, reprogram your subconscious mind. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, I did not expect to be able to do this just by breathing. But at the same time, I was like, yeah, like this is exactly what I was looking for. Like, because apart from becoming a yoga teacher, I also wanted to become a more mental coach, helping people letting go of past beliefs, past limitations to create, again, a better version of on themselves. So when I was sitting there, I was like, yeah, this sounds exactly what I need right now. And then I actually had my first breathwork session. Yeah, I'm like, conscious connected breathwork. That's like the method they use. So it's conscious connected breathing in and out through the nose or the mouth. And I did this session for the first time while I was in the breathwork facilitator training. And I was kicked through so many universes. I was laughing, I was screaming, I was crying. I let go of many, many emotions that I had within me. And after the session, I was like, wow, what did just happen? I couldn't really understand it. But after this one session, I knew everybody should know this. Everybody should try this because it's such a powerful tool. And even though I was already within the world of breathwork with Wim Hof and some pranayama and yoga, I have never, ever experienced and heard about this type of breathwork before. And that was like 2 years ago. So that's how my mission started, to share this magic with the world around me. And this was actually my first true breathwork experience in this sense.
Amazing. Yeah. So there are different types of breathwork, right? Can you also explain that a little bit more? Do you have different type of breathworks for different kind of situations or different kind of things you would like to solve? Or is it in different gradations, different levels? Can you explain that, how that works?
Yeah, so I think there's also different opinions about different types of breathwork around this world, and I'm still figuring out, hey, what's the best way to categorize it? But I would say on one hand, we have the functional breathing. So how we breathe in our every single day, like in our everyday life. And we have different breathing exercises which we can use to optimize our breathing so that we, like you said, breathing deeper into the belly, using the right muscles, and just have a better functional breathing for the day, for the sleep, for endurance. Then we have all these breathing techniques from pranayama. So there are like hundreds of different techniques we can use to target different parts of our nervous system. So we can upregulate the nervous system to have more energy. We can downregulate the nervous system to reduce stress, anxiety, which we can also use for before going to bed to improve the sleep quality. And then like breathing techniques to create balance and homeostasis like in our body.
Hey, just a quick note from our sponsor, True Impact Agency. If you want to set up marketing funnels, create landing pages, or start advertising campaigns, they have years of experience offering these kind of marketing services. You can just get in touch with them through the website, trueimpactagency.com, and there's also a free ebook for you to download, where you can learn how to turn quality leads into paying customers. Thank you very much, and let's continue the episode.
And then I would say we have, like a different category, which is maybe Wim Hof breathing, which is like circular breathing. He still uses breathing techniques from pranayama, but I'm not too sure about this one. But then we definitely have another category, which is all around holotropic breathing techniques, or like a session. because the technique is pretty much the same. It's like strong inhale the nose or into the mouth, and like over a longer period of time that we reach certain states. And there are different techniques, but the founder was Stanislav Grof with holotropic breathwork. So we have transformational breathwork, holotropic breathwork, rebirthing, psychedelic breath. But in this sense, it's all the same. It's all a breathing technique, or like a session where you have conscious connected breath in and out of the nose or the mouth for a longer period of time, from 20, 30 up to several hours. And through this breathing technique, you inhale and exhale a lot of air within a minute. And that's how things change in your body to get into these non-ordinary states of consciousness and having like these effects that people experience. So again, I would say 3 parts: functional breathing, pranayama for targeting certain parts of the nervous system, and then really this transformative breath work to reprogram your subconscious mind, letting go of suppressed traumas, emotions, and stuff like this.
Okay, yeah. So what is it that actually happens? So you're breathing faster, you're taking much more air in your body. You're also, how does that, is it you're taking much more air in your brains as well, and something happens in your brain that you start seeing things and everything? And how does it exactly work? Do you know that?
Yeah, so of course you're inhaling more oxygen in a minute, but at the same time you're also exhaling a lot of carbon dioxide. And we need carbon dioxide so that the oxygen gets transported to the muscles and to the brain. But because we're exhaling out so much carbon dioxide, the blood vessels, they shrink, and the brain stops getting so much, stops getting more and more oxygen. So the blood flow to the brain is reduced. And after 10 to 15 minutes, certain parts of the prefrontal cortex, they switch off, and we enter pre-rest parts of the brains. And as we breathe like this over like a certain period of time, and we access different parts of the brain, and also about the limbic system, which is responsible for our emotions, we allow ourselves to enter this like material from the subconscious mind, and we allow our body to work with this subconscious material. So emotions or tensions in the body. And it's not necessarily the oxygen that we inhale, but it's more the changes that happen in the brain that allows our body to bring up the subconscious material. But there's also like, we can't explain everything scientifically, and that's what I really like about the breathing, like this type of breath work. Because on one hand, we can explain on some levels what is happening physically in the body. Yeah. So the blood flow reduces, but at the same time we have the transpersonal or the spiritual aspect. Yeah, that many informations are stored within the body, and through this kind of breathing and all the energy that's being moved without the system or within the system, we bring this material to the surface. And we bring different kind of material to the surface. Yeah, we have all the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And we have material, like the body is like a big storage of past memories. Memories from our existing life, from childhood to the moment we're in right now. Then big memories and traumas from the birth process. But on the other hand, we also carry around material that is not from us, but from our parents, from other generations. And there's a beautiful study that shows that, for instance, mice, they carry around trauma from generations of up to 14 generations ago. So if we think about it, okay, we're not mice, but maybe just take the last 2 or 3 generations. If we carry around trauma from our previous generations, that's a lot of stuff. All these wars, all the violence, and that is crazy. We still carry around this material within us, and these materials, these memories, they influence us on a subconscious level on every single day, on how we think, how we act, and how we walk through life. And we're not even aware of this. So breathwork helps us to bring this subconscious material to the surface and letting go some of these emotions, traumas, or memories.
That's pretty impressive, actually. Yeah. Now we hear about breathwork like the past few years. Is it a new discovery, or is it something that like some other modalities that already existing for a very long time, and now here in the West it becomes more well known? What is the history about it?
Yeah, so breathwork has like existed for the last 2000 years.
Mm.
So many people also from the yoga side, they also started different pranayama techniques and they use breathwork for yoga for many years. So this is nothing new. We have been breathing like always, yeah. Breathing was always important, but I think like 2,000 to 3,000 years ago, maybe earlier, the different studies, people started using breathwork to improve the quality of their lives. The type of breathwork we are talking about is quite new regarding this time frame. So they started, I think, in the 60s and 70s, Stanislav Grof, because he started this research. He was primarily working with LSD, like using really looking into the effect of LSD and psychedelics. But once it was forbidden to work more with this stuff, and it was like an illegal drug, he found the correlation or he looked into it more in detail and found out that people who do psychedelics, they have a certain breathing pattern. So he tried to use the breathing pattern to get the same results without the drug. And that's how he started his process with holotropic breathwork in the 60s and 70s. And since that time on, more and more techniques, or not techniques, methods, whatever you call them, came up slowly and steadily. But I think the most important person for breathwork these days is Wim Hof, because he really showed that with breathwork you can really change your entire system. He brought it out to the public. And for this, I'm really grateful, because without him, most of the people don't know about breathwork, but almost nobody would know about this. But that's also like a difficult part, because now people think breathwork is maybe pranayama from yoga. Breathwork is Wim Hof, but breathwork is so much more, because the breathing that Wim Hof uses, we use the same techniques. So it's strong inhale into the nose, exhaling out of the nose or the mouth. But what Wim Hof is doing, he's having this breathing technique for certain rounds. So 30 to 50 breaths, then having a breath hold, doing it again and again and again. And what we do, we don't have these breaks. Because with this type of breathwork, transformative, holotropic, however you want to call this, we breathe like this for a long period of time, 20, 30, 40 minutes, without maybe only sometimes having a quick breath hold, depending on what your goal is. But by extending the length of this kind of breathwork, you will reach totally different states than Wim Hof, which is more, it's extreme, but more intense, I would say, having way different results. And that is the point, or that's one big part of my mission, that I go out in this world and I share this breathing style with the world around me, so that they can really see what is the true power of breathing. It's not just breath work, like Wim Hof. Wim Hof is amazing. I love him. I still do this in the morning when I have like a couple of minutes, but there's so much more. And we can change our entire system, our mind, our subconscious mind. We can program our subconscious mind just by breathing and with the right facilitation.
Yeah. Is the holotropic breathing the most intense version of breathwork, or is there something even more intense?
I'm not aware of any other, like I said, holotropic breathwork, there's a different modality. It's like a 3-hour process. You have a sitter, then like basically it's all the same. And you can do the length of a session over 1 hour, over 45 minutes, over 3 hours. So it really depends on the facilitator. But this style in general, this area, in my opinion, is the most intense breathwork, and also from my experience, the most intense you can do.
Yeah, I have experienced myself different kinds of breathwork, and some are more gentle, and you also can have these nice effects during the journey and also afterwards. And some are, I would say, more aggressive, where you You're getting faster in a certain state, but also it's more challenging in a shorter amount of time, and it's a little bit scary at the same time as well.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that it also really depends on the person, what kind of breathwork suits. And then also, yeah, I'm wondering, like, if you go really into the intense breathwork, there's some scarcity involved. Yeah, sometimes you have that feeling that you're missing your breath. Sometimes even, I don't know if I have breath inside of me or outside of me. So you start losing your consciousness a little bit. Is there a certain kind of danger? And that's also what other people sometimes, I think, wondering.
So definitely there are some contraindications. So if you have high blood pressure, if you have epilepsy, if you're taking medications regarding depression, you should really talk first to your doctor to get information if you should really do this. Because of course, by this intense breathing, your heart starts beating. If we do breath holds, this also is another, puts more pressure on your entire system. So that many, like a few contraindications that you should be aware of, that you should first check with your doctor if you're healthy. Yeah. Then if you're doing, for instance, too long breath holds within such a session, this can lead to unconsciousness. So that's another thing, like becoming unconscious is not the healthiest variation, definitely. So you should be more careful with this. But there are different studies showing that, okay, on one hand, becoming unconscious, that's really not good for you. But if it's like only once in a while in a breathwork session, it's not the worst because you're already lying down. But yeah, there are different opinions of different facilitators. And I think every facilitator should look into these risks and communicate them in the right way. But other risks is more, not really a risk, but what you just said, people are scared. And people have fears. Yeah. And that's totally normal, because within such a breathwork session, you have different experience on different levels. On one hand, you have like the physical level. On the physical level, you can feel things like getting warm, getting cold, feeling tingling, feeling electricity, but also feeling tensions and getting cramps. So oftentimes when you're in a breathwork session, you see people totally cramped up like this. Why is this? On one hand, because we're exhaling out a lot of carbon dioxide. We need carbon dioxide so that the muscles getting enough oxygen. So if we exhale a lot of carbon dioxide, the muscles don't get enough oxygen. So cramps are coming up and tension is being built. But that's not the only reason, because the tension have also to do with past traumas. So whenever we experience a really emotional situation in our life, our nervous system reacts and we feel tension in the body. So we're not having only an emotional reaction to this, I would say, dangerous or different situation, but also a physical reaction. So part of this tension then is being stored in our body. So we all have, again, a big storage of stored tension in the body. So when we do this breathing, we're bringing up this subconscious material, and with it, oftentimes coming these stored tensions. So that's the reason why people also getting more cramps. And that's something we scientifically cannot prove yet. That's what I read in some books. So it's not only the scientific explanation why we're getting cramps, but also depending on what kind of traumas we have in what certain parts of the body, the cramps become more intense. And this is something, on one hand, which scares people, because like they never felt like this. They were like, I don't even know if I will ever feel my hand again, because they can't feel it. They no longer have control sometimes over what is happening in the body. But in the end, it's really healing, because they let go of these stored tensions. And afterwards, I had one client which was really interesting. He had like with his jaw, like several problems for, I think, 2-3 years. He went to all kind of doctors and like other specialists, and they didn't know what to do. And after his first breathwork session, he came to me and said, wow, this pain got massively reduced just by this breathwork. And why? Because it's these stored tensions that we have in the body. So it's possible that afterwards you're feeling lighter, you're having less pain in your body or certain body parts. And that's just the physical level. And then we come to the emotional level, and all kind of emotions come up. So if you have lived through some traumatic experience, sometimes our brain wants to protect us. And by protecting us, it doesn't allow us to deal with the problem right away, but it gets pushed away. Yeah. So in these breathwork sessions, then these topics, they come back up again, and we're feeling fear. We're super scared. We really have to face our shadows and stuff from maybe from the childhood that we haven't really processed. And because we have to face our fears and our shadows, this is scary. But in life, we always have two chances, like two ways. On one hand, we can run away, or we face it. And only by facing the fears and the shadows, we can overcome them. But therefore, it's necessary to go through, and this can be super painful.
Yeah.
And then we have the transpersonal and spiritual area, and here's everything possible. People walking through different dimensions, feeling energy in the body, seeing themselves from above, like living the life of previous generation. And this, again, you can't prove it with science, but there are thousands, hundreds of thousands, and maybe millions of proofs who have already experienced that. And that's the beautiful part about breathwork, because it's science, but on the other hand, it's also spirituality. And that's also one of my biggest goals, because I come from the Western world. I have like background in business, but I'm also super open about spirituality, believing in energies and whatever's out there. And for me, my purpose is to bring these two worlds together. And breathwork is the perfect part, because once you have such an experience, you can't deny that there's nothing like energy. And even people who are not spiritual can attend breathwork session, and they can feel stuff that's like, this is not from this world. And that's one of the reasons why I love breathwork and showing it to people who have never had any experiences with the spiritual or transpersonal world.
Yeah. Well, he definitely has some great features. If you want to think about people that have difficulties in taking external substances, actually, to get in certain states, that you don't have that with breathwork. So for people that have that principle of, I'm never going to take something, like it's a LSD or a plant medicine or whatever. So here it's like they say, getting high on your own supply, right?
Yes. So it's for everybody. So, it's not like, people I'm not breathing because breathing is illegal. No, breathing is legal. You can do breathing and you can get literally the same effect as psychedelics.
Yeah, I think it's because it's activating certain circuits in your brain that never get activated in your normal life, I would say. And then you start to see other perspectives, and you get away from all the patterns and the programs and all this kind of thing. So it's really fascinating. Definitely. So I'm wondering, because from my experience, like going to breathwork sessions, it's always pretty open. So you can decide when you want to go to a breathwork session, what type of breathwork session you want to go to. But could a breathwork also become part of therapeutic plan, for example? Can you develop a method where you say, okay, we're going to do breathwork once a week, twice a week. We're going to work on this specific issue, a certain trauma that you had in your life. If you go to a traditional psychologist, then you have to go there every week and maybe later every 2 weeks, and they're working with you towards certain goals and things you would like to achieve. So can you include breathwork into that? And is that something that you do, or are there other people that are offering this kind of service?
Yeah, really good point, because I think this is the future of therapy, or one of the possible futures. Because I think therapy in its way is a good approach that people go to the therapist. But what I read in some books and studies is that just by talking about things, you can't really solve many of them. So you're always like in the conscious head, you're talking about this, but we're missing out the body. So I think it's in the future, it's a really good way to combine breathwork and therapy, to using breathwork, to letting go of this subconscious material, becoming more aware. I think it's like a shortcut for therapy. And then after the session, it's also really important to integrate what has happened, what have you realized, what have you felt, what awareness do you have right now? Because that's another thing that is missing oftentimes, not only with breathwork, but especially in plant-based medicine, like ayahuasca, or like all these different kind of trips, that people just jumping from trip to trip to trip, but they don't integrate. They're lacking the integration part. But here is like, I think the roles of as a therapist really good, because they know talking. Yeah, they know how to integrate stuff. They know the science behind all of this. They know how to communicate and like set up plans with the client. So I think it's in the future a really good way to combine both. And that's something I do with my coaching clients. So I work with people one-on-one, and we have one session a week, in person or online, over 4, 8, or 12 weeks. And so basically we do the same. Of course, I'm not a therapist, but I have experience with people. I, in the meantime, know many, many things about the brain, the human, how we work, how we think. So we're having a breathwork session, and the one-on-one breathwork session is really interesting because in a breathwork session, I, as a facilitator, can somehow guide the journey of the client. So before the session, we talk about, hey, what's the like challenges in your life? What are areas you want to work on? And so within the sessions, through my affirmations, through my words, I will guide the people into the pain or into happy moments, depending on what struggle they have. So that with my voice, I guide them and they feel into these feelings and really can work on solving these specific issues. And afterwards, we talk about this. They're getting different exercises for the integration, meditation, grounding exercise, journaling, writing. And then we have another session. And it's beautiful how the people change over a period of time. And what a deep transformation is possible just by breathing. And that's what people don't know yet, but that's one of my tasks and one of my journeys.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. So most of the breathwork sessions, they are in groups of people, right? 10 people, 20 people. What is ideal to do that? Because at the same time, people need to feel safe. There's a lot of healing happening at the same time in one specific room. And then also, but that's another question. Can you also do it by yourself at home, for example?
So I think the perfect size does not exist. One-on-one sessions are very powerful, but group sessions are also powerful. Sometimes just 2 people, sometimes 10, 50, or 100. My biggest one was, I think, last year with about 55, 60 people. And you have different modalities. I love using headphones and blindfolds, because then you're really in your own scenery. I used to do it without headphones, but many people get distracted, so they can't really focus on their own process. Some people, again, but on the other side, say, oh, I love it. I love having group sessions with hearing the people breathing, screaming, escalating. I did this before, but I think for the personal transformation, it's better with headphones. And so it doesn't matter how many people are around you, but what you can actually feel is the energy in the room. The more people, the more intense the breathing, the higher is the energy level. And this allows you as a breather, I guess, to also sometimes go maybe a little bit deeper. But again, that's many people have different experiences. So I think big group sessions, they're really good. And you mentioned also the part of the people have to feel safe. And this comes and goes with the facilitator. Yeah. With the facilitator being able to hold the space, guiding them with their voice, allowing them to feel safe with every single breath they do. And how I like doing it is to constantly remind the people that they have the control. Because just by changing the way you breathe, so the more intense you breathe, the deeper can be your experiences. If you feeling not safe at all and you want this to stop, can close your mouth and come back to nose breathing. So you have always a choice. And I always say them in this entire session, every single breath is a new decision you make. There's only one breath after another. And you can decide, do you want to go more, deeper, or do you want to slow down? And from my opinion and experience, this is really helpful creating a safe space. And it's the voice of the facilitator, because the voice transmits an energy. Totally. Again, so I always say, no matter what kind of coach you are or facilitator, if it's yoga, if it's breathwork, if it's meditation, You can have all the skills in the world, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if this, I would say, this magical part within your soul is missing, which can't transmit the energy in the right way, like you're having struggle and problems, like really keeping the people on track and creating the safe space. And I've experienced this especially in yoga classes. Just a beginner who didn't know so many asanas, but the way she was talking, she was guiding, wonderful. On the other hand, another one doing 25 years of yoga, there was just something missing. Something you can't explain, you can't grasp on, but that's again the transpersonal, like spiritual world. But yeah, so again, many aspects.
What do you think about doing these sessions at home? Because I see sometimes these organizations and they try to build their community online, and then they do weekly sessions. And technically it's the same, right? You put your headphones on and they guide you through the computer. What do you think about that? Because I'm not fully convinced just by my own experience that you always have the full control of your breath, because I remember situations sometimes that I felt I was somewhere else. And like I said, that I didn't know, am I breathing still or not? But probably we can regulate ourselves. Maybe it's not conscious, but unconsciously. But if that's the case, then if there's not really a danger, then you can technically do that at home as well.
Yeah, so I also do and guide breathwork sessions online, and I have amazing feedback from the people. Because again, you're like in a similar state. The only aspect that is missing is the physical touch. But energy is everywhere, the connection is everywhere. You have your headphones, you have your eyes closed, and you just follow the guidance. And again, it's the job of the facilitator to create the safe space, to help the people to breathe, to continue the breathing. And you just mentioned an interesting aspect, like moments where you're not sure, am I breathing the right way? Am I breathing am I breathing or not? This sometimes happens because you're having like different experiences. So every now and then people, they breathe, and then at once they having maybe out of body experiences. There is somewhere in the subconscious mind connecting with whatever emotions, feelings, sensations, and that's okay. So you have this in person and in an online session as well.
Yeah.
And some people even prefer it because they have the safe space. They are at home. They have their energy, they're in their room, in their apartment, and they can relax more rather than being surrounded by many people. And therefore, you really got to check it out and have a look. What is the best style that suits you? I like both. I like going to group sessions. I like one-on-one sessions. And every now and then I also do online sessions for myself.
Yeah, and there's also a difference between being guided online one-on-one or in group, because if it's in group, nobody can really take care of you. So I remember I did it, of course, like at home a few times, and when you're really charged, like you have this gentle feeling in your hands and your arms, and then you come out of it, then you need to give yourself some time, to get up and you just continue your life, right? And if nobody tells you that, then you're gonna have like dizziness and wow, what's this, So I think that guidance is actually quite important. So
definitely. So it's recommendations of what you should do after breathwork session. But same if it's also in person. So you need to have a clue. Okay, what can I do afterwards? What can help me with the integration? Taking it easy, drinking water, things like this. And really taking action from this. Like really the integration part is important. Because most people lack this. They're getting inspired and then they drop the idea. And they're getting inspired and then not changing anything. But this type of breathwork is really there to create awareness, to letting go of old habits and this like bad belief systems and getting into change. To become, if you call it, a better version of yourself, but a version with more understanding of yourself and more free in the way you think, you talk, and you act.
And that integration process, you mean, is that right after the breathwork session, or do you mean also like some days after?
It's moments afterwards. Like I always recommend the people writing down what they have experienced, what has changed, how they have changed, and then using meditations or guided breathing sessions or like constantly journaling on different different tasks and different things over the next days and even weeks to really create a lasting change.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you will never change. You have this excitement experience and you drop. Have excitement experience and that's not the case. Can be fun though, can be, wow, another great experience, but at the end we all want to change. We all want to evolve and experience new things and become somehow a better version, and only by the proper integration this helps, or this is possible.
I sometimes believe, but there were moments when I discovered breathwork that I was a lot into that, because it was something new and I wanted to explore and see what works and what doesn't work. I sometimes believe that it would be beneficial to create your own breathwork session. I don't know if you ever have explored that, because everybody's different, everybody's unique, and everybody responds in a different way to certain things.
What exactly do you mean with creating your own breathwork? What do you mean with this?
Yeah, that you develop your own guidance in a way. So that you decide how long are you going to breathe in, how long you're going to breathe out, how fast you're going to go, and that you create it for yourself. So to learn actually by doing certain things at a certain amount of time, you're going to be in that kind of state. Something like that, to make it more efficient. It could be done by an application or something, or just by recording, or maybe even if you think about AI, I don't know, but that's got to be is that is that I don't know, that but AI doesn't really know what's going on inside of you, right? So that would not work. But you can compare it, like so that you learn from yourself and you optimize the session, the guidance.
Well, I think of course you can do this, creating your own sessions. So yeah, regarding the breath, you always have control. Some people and facilitators, they guide all the way through how people should breathe and have to breathe. I don't do this. So I give the breather I give them instructions how they should be breathing, but in the end they follow their own rhythm. And every now and then I remind them, hey, let's breathe together like this. But I also experience if you make it too complicated for the people, they're like constantly in the hand, am I breathing the right way? Is this right? Is this wrong? So yeah, what I do, they just breathe in the end what feels best for them. So they can always adjust their own breathing. So in that term, they are making their own breathing, kind of. And regarding the designing their own journey, of course, you need the right music, which you can create. You can create your own playlists, but then you also need the guidance. Because just by playing music and the breath and breathing, your mind will start wandering around. And the voice of the facilitator helps you to redirect in different areas. So maybe if we have an AI and you feed it with a lot of information about yourself, about your current problems, about the challenges, and you put it all in a system, I think this is in the future possible. That then in kind of real time, the AI generates a journey for you, or not even real time. Maybe you give all this information before and then you get this transcript, the music, and you just click play and you have your own journey.
Exactly.
I think that's possible, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking loud up actually, but yeah, it needs to be fed, by information from you, so it can listen to your breaths, but it doesn't really know what's going on inside of you. But yeah, definitely interesting if that could be solved technically in a way. Because there are a lot of applications. One day. Yeah, but there are a lot of applications these days, that try to replicate physical guidance for different kind of things. Meditation is a very common one, and breathwork could be another one, I guess.
Yeah. So we will see where this will go.
We will see where this will go. Yeah, definitely. I just prefer. I prefer still being with people, being surrounded with people, and also having this energy, as what you mentioned. But if you're with more people together, you create this kind of amplified field, which gives also a certain kind of comfort, I think, and connection. That's important.
Yeah. Yeah, like connection is really important, and that's also what's happening within a breathwork session. You find a deeper connection, or you build a deeper connection with yourself. Like really finding out more about who are you, why are you, how you are, and what is like your, I would say maybe purpose in life, because many people, they are looking for the purpose. They are maybe sometimes trapped in some work or some life they don't really want to live, but they don't even know what they actually want. Yeah. And just by breathing, you're getting into these meditative states, switching off the thinking brain, the parts of the prefrontal cortex, and you're getting in these meditative states, and you open up yourself up for, I would say, downloads. So oftentimes in breathwork sessions, you have these ideas, you have this clarity, like, wow, now I know what to do, or like you're combining different kind of dots. Also, like after psychedelic sessions, people, because you reconnect the neurons in your brain in a different way, you come up with new ideas, with new technology, whatever. And that's what like people in the Silicon Valley have been using for years and decades now. Microdosing, all this stuff is coming more and more like popular these days. But just by breathwork, you can get these insights. You can get more information, become more aware of what you want, what you don't want to do, and allowing yourself to maybe making a decision like on a really important topic.
I did for the first time plant medicine retreats, which was very intense, like not one time, but like 3 days in a 7 days retreat. If you say like breathwork is kind of a shortcut, if you compare it to psychotherapy, then plant medicine for me is a kind of shortcut to breathwork. Do you agree with that or not? Because I felt that's so deep. And you come in so many different states, or just you go really deep in the roots, in the core actually. And I had that with breathwork as well, but I feel it's unlayers certain things, but it's not going so deep. But maybe I didn't do it enough, It's like, but I want to hear your experience about that.
So I would say with breathwork you can go really, really deep. And I had people telling me, wow, this was actually deeper than an ayahuasca experience. This was deeper than a psilocybin experience. But then you have other people who say, well, like, yeah, breathwork is super intense, but psilocybin was, or like all other plant-based medicine was more intense. And I think it always depends also on the dosage, because with plant-based medicine, you can go on a really high dosage. And then, of course, making the entire experience more intense and creating bigger changes. So an honest opinion would be, I think, in many cases, you can go deeper with plant-based medicine, but with
breathwork, you need to be ready for that.
But you need to be ready, because some people, they do plant-based medicine and they're just like totally overwhelmed and they kind of lost and have like the worst trip ever. But again, like not everybody's ready to take plant-based medicines, because it's illegal in many countries and states, and like they're like suspicious. I don't want to do this. But breathing is for everybody. So I think breathwork should be done by most of the people, except the ones who have like contraindications. And then more and more people are also combining breathwork and psychedelics, and then things happen that you
in the same session. You mean?
Say it again.
In the same session.
Yes. So you take microdosing of like bigger dosages of plant-based medicines, and then you're doing breathwork, and then you're combining these two forces into powers. I've just done this with some microdosing, which was interesting. I myself I thought about holding maybe one of these sessions, but then I had beautiful conversations with experts in psilocybin and like in plant-based medicine. And you need to be an expert in plant-based medicines. You need to be able to hold the space you needed to have like made your own experiences with plant-based medicine. And you can't just say, hey, let's drop some shrooms in a high dosage and then we go on a journey. I think people should not do this. Or facilitators, they need some sort of expertise, because many things can happen when you take plant-based medicines, and you should be trained in this. But
tell me.
Yeah, but I think I think it's powerful combining both, definitely. But there again, the facilitators who know what they're doing.
Yeah, I never tried that actually. So and I wouldn't probably not combine it with ayahuasca, because that's pretty intense. But maybe with mushrooms then or something.
Yeah, psilocybin is coming more. I don't know what in the US they're trying different things. I think ketamine. is popular in the
Oh,
US.
yeah.
So
That's more scientific. How do you call that? Scientific drug? No.
yeah, yeah. I haven't like tried this combination, but yeah, there's
Yeah.
so many ways you can play around with. But like you should just start by normal breathwork, you know, because then you
Mm,
know what just breathwork can do to your body, and not
exactly.
afterwards. You don't know what impact just the breathwork had, or
Yeah.
the psychedelic. So if you've never experienced breathwork, just try it sober, and then
I think so
afterwards,
too. Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you feel like doing it, and if you have the right facilitator, you can also try like a combination of it.
Yeah, because there is like a big difference between never have done any breathwork session and did one session. It's like, for me, that was like already like a huge shift, you know, just having that feeling of going to certain parts in your body, emotions start coming up. If you have never experienced that, you know, and then going in psychedelics, I don't think that would be like a smart decision to
Yeah,
do. So yeah, I see breathwork really as a good preparation for psychedelics if that's something that you want to do and you feel that it's right for you.
yeah,
So yeah, definitely.
yeah. And again, it's so important with whom you do breath work. So
Mm,
I have done a lot of breathwork sessions, and many sessions I didn't like the guidance or like the music or the style. But even though I didn't like some of the sessions, I never stopped doing it. And that's what I would
mm,
recommend everybody. If you had even one, two, or three bad or not so good breathwork sessions, don't give up. Just go to another facilitator, try a different style. As I said, there's so
mm,
many different styles. And I'm right
yeah.
now on my journey to discover more styles, to learn more about other techniques and styles and ways how people and facilitator teach and train.
Mm,
Um, like it's never ending, and everybody's different. Every facilitator has a different energy, voice, and
yeah.
that's the beautiful part about breathwork. It's a universe. It's a really a
Mm,
big universe, and the people don't know. Like they don't know anything about it. It's just like this tiny bit, or Wim Hof breathing, or whatever, you know.
yeah. True. Yeah. The first breathwork I experienced was more like recreational. It didn't went that deep actually.
Mm.
So and you can use it in that way as well, right? It's like yeah, you just do some breathing in and out, and you feel that your consciousness is changing. You're enjoying the music a lot, but you're not really going that deep that you're touching into certain parts and emotions come up. So
Mhm.
that was my first one. I think yeah, it is good to experience that lighter version and then
Mhm.
going into more intense versions. So yeah, but it's for everybody to explore.
And another beautiful part is that every single session can be totally different, even with the same
Mm,
facilitator, even with the same kind of playlist. Because when you do breath work, oftentimes the subconscious material comes up that has like the biggest relevance right now in your life. If you have like, I don't know, you just suffered from a breakup, things from this breakup will very probably come up in certain areas of this session. And regarding when you just got a promotion, maybe you're feeling more bliss and joy. So every time is different because we feel every single day we're feeling different. And depending on also like what your current state is, this somehow
yeah.
determines also your breathwork session. So that's why I have
Mm,
like sometimes people coming, especially these days, there's one person who's suffering tremendously from a really big breakup, and he joined one of my group sessions last week in Cyprus, and he said, wow, he could let go of so many things. He was crying so much because of this breakup, but now he
mm,
knows he needs to work more on this, really to work on this specific thing. So I think yeah, tomorrow we're having like the next session, or like the first session 101, to
yeah.
really deal with his pains that he's living right now. And so I
Mm,
think starting with a group session is perfect. So you experience some stuff, and you can really see, is there anything I really should work on, like more in detail, or like in a
mm,
private session, and then just try like a one-on-one session.
mm, yeah. Yeah, since I know you, I see you as one of the most passionate people actually that is doing this breath work. You have so much energy, and I see you're so much fully into that, you know. And I'm wondering what is your mission? What do you want to accomplish? Why are you doing it for? Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, I like we said earlier, I'm coming from the, I would say the normal world, having a 9 to 5 job in the IT sales industry. and was never really fulfilled. So I quit this job with the intention to find a purpose and to find a profession with what I can help people living a happy and healthier life, because I was not happy myself. I was healthy, but I was not happy. And I saw and I still see so many people who are living a life they don't want to live. They are too afraid to make a change. They have too many responsibilities. They are not allowing themselves to just do what they want to do. So I want to help the people living a happy and healthier life without stress, with a more purpose in life. And I want to create a world where we are more connected with each other. I want to live in a world where we smile at each other, where we have fun, where we enjoy, where we allow ourselves to just be authentic without playing a role in society. And I've had this myself, like not being myself in many situations because of what my parents could think, what my friends could think, what strangers could think. And I realized that with breathwork, we can become aware of all these subconscious patterns and beliefs. We can bring awareness to that, put them aside, and we can reprogram our subconscious mind so that afterwards we're more connected with ourselves. We know more what we want, who we are. We have more energy. We feel lighter. We feel more free. And we can just become the designer of our lives. And I've realized this and experienced this in breathwork sessions. So every time most of the time I do breathwork for myself, I know more what I want to do. I feel more confident in what I want to do. I'm more myself. I have a different energy. And when we come to the spiritual world, we're all on frequencies, right? We're sending out different frequencies. And the part is, the more negative emotions and negative memories we have within the body, we're sending out more low frequency signals to the world. So as we're like a magnet, we will attract what we will send out. So if you allow yourself now in a breathwork session to bring this low frequencies to the surface, and you can let them go, like maybe pain, sadness, anger, your frequency increases. And that what I personally love to do in my sessions, to end the sessions with feelings of love, gratitude, joy. So it's like, I always say, it's like an injection. You inject yourself with high frequencies. So at the end of a session, you're living in a higher frequency than before. Yeah. And so you start automatically attracting different things in your life. And that's what I see happening with people who are doing breathwork over and over again. They reprogram their subconscious mind, letting go of old belief systems, and just become a new version of themselves. And that's my goal, because I see such a power in breathwork. I have so much fun doing it and guiding the people, creating the safe space. And the most beautiful part is after a session when I look around and I see the people having tears in their eyes. And last weekend, it was like 3 people just came to me and said, wow, you just changed my life. And this is again and again, like another proof why I should be doing this and why I'm going to continue this. Even though it's not always easy, because I think like breathwork, like, what are you doing? Are you like a crazy guy jumping around the bonfire? Like, I experienced this, especially coming from this corporate world, you know?
Of course, yeah. Can imagine. Yeah, it's beautiful, definitely. Before we end this podcast session, do you feel there is something that you want to share that we haven't talked about, certain topic, or just some inspiration?
I would say not necessarily. It's maybe one topic regarding competition and collaboration. So I think that we should all work together in better ways. We should collaborate more. Of course, if, for instance, in Barcelona, there's so many breathwork facilitators, what I hear oftentimes. But to be honest, I don't think so. There can be many, but even I'm sometimes struggling to find a breathwork facilitator with exactly the style I like. Because again, like, even though there seem to be many, there are even more people still on this world who needs help. Like 95% have never experienced breathwork. Have never done something with breathwork. And I think there are enough clients and customers for everybody. So I'm also pretty grateful for different facilitators. Also, like, of course, sometimes my ego kicks in and says, I hope I get more clients than this guy.
Yeah.
But again, that's something that I have to deal with. That's my ego, and I gotta somehow handle it. But I'm in general grateful for all facilitators. And that's also one of the reasons why I myself in the future also want to become a trainer for breathwork facilitators, to train facilitators to share my style with the people around me, so that more people can actually experience my style and the way I do. And then these people, again, they create their own style and their own technique and way. But yeah, if you've never tried breathwork, do it. If you had a bad experience, do it again. Doesn't matter, because it's always so different.
Yeah. Never give up. Definitely. Yeah. No, it's a really great tool to use in your life for all kinds of situations. When you have difficulties, when you just feel things need to change in your life, emotions need to go out, health problems, a lot of reasons actually to just explore and try it and see what happens.
Yeah.
So let's hope that this podcast session inspired a lot of people actually to start doing it and just try it.
Yeah. And maybe one other thing before we finish, because I had this in the last weeks more and more often. So many people see me. I've been traveling around like a lot the last weeks and months. I was in Costa Rica, in Mexico, traveling around in Europe, last year in Morocco, and so many countries and places. And they just see like me having fun, traveling around the world, giving breathwork sessions. Because of course, that's one of my intentions now, to travel around the world, and everywhere I go to teach breathwork. Everywhere, to build up different bases all around the world, to 2 or 3 times a year coming to this place, to Mexico, to Costa Rica, to London, or like whatever place it is, and share the breathwork. But what the people don't see is that sometimes I have to cancel sessions. Sometimes no people are coming up. Sometimes I'm like totally frustrated, was worrying about money. Is money coming in? Can I pay my rent? Can I pay my bills? Especially in the first years. And this is things people don't know about entrepreneurship. Oftentimes, especially on Instagram and TikTok and wherever, we just see, wow, this guy is bouncing around, traveling around the world, having fun, giving breathwork session here and there. But what's behind the scenery, most of the people don't know. So yeah, just this friendly reminder, there's always 2 sides. And even though people seem to be super happy and facilitators, they also struggle. They also need support and guidance sometimes. So I also work with a mentor, with my spiritual guide, who support me on my personal journey, because it's ups and downs. But yeah, I have also tools which I can use if I'm feeling low on energy, and there are different tools. For me, it's breathwork, it's meditation, it's manifestation, it's visualization. Right now, I work a lot with Joe Dispenza, who's an amazing guy. But yeah, everybody is on their own journey, and especially I think the first years of being an entrepreneur can be difficult. What I realize right now, it's a lot of planting seeds, and I need patience. So that's one of my tasks I'm working on right now. But I already see that this patience is paying off in some ways. And one big thing is that the universe doesn't only pay you in money. So it's not only about money, but the universe pays you in different kind of value, in conversation, in experiences, in joy. For instance, I was in Tulum 3 weeks, and I was staying for free at a friend's beachfront villa. Of course, I did not get paid, but I get paid in a different way of staying for free. So whatever we bring out in this world will come back one way or the other. And it's not always money. So we have to let go somehow from this. And of course, for me, myself, my personal journey, this is something I'm working on right now. Letting go of, I need to money, to trusting that everything that's happening is happening for a reason. Doesn't mean that I'm just chilling there and say, money come. No, but we have to become proactive, of course. But it's an interesting journey. So it's not only about money. And if you're only following the money, then it's not the right thing.
Definitely not. No. I can resonate with a lot of things that you say, actually. And the tough one is letting go. That's a tough one. Yeah, because we're so not used to that. We're so used to think about, okay, everything we do, we need to do it for the money, right? We need to, first we need to survive. And then, we want to treat ourselves. We want to have a quality life, you know. Yeah. But I think here, the most important thing is that mission that you have, you know, and it's really a clear mission. It's really a mission to change a lot of people's lives. And in one way or another, it will come back to you in a lot of good things. So I really trust in that. So I really encourage you to continue and never give up.
Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to participate in one of the coming sessions that you're gonna do. So
you're more than welcome.
Yeah. Nice. If other people want to experience your breathwork, how can they reach out to you? Where can they find you? Of course, there are people listening, not only out of Spain, but also from other places. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit where they can find you.
So they can find me on my website, www.webreathe.com. And that's a brand that created last year with a business partner. Now I'm doing this Breathe by myself. They can find me on Instagram, and there's on this website, they can access the schedule. So I give online breathwork sessions for groups right now, once or twice a month. And I give breathwork sessions in person in Barcelona once a month and in different places all around right now, Europe/worldwide. So this week, actually, I'm flying to Zurich, give a group session in Zurich. Then I go to Ibiza, give a session in Ibiza. But you can follow me on Instagram at WeBreathe, see the schedule on my website. And if you want to work one-on-one, this does work in person and online. You can just reach out via email or the phone number, which you can find on the website as well and on Instagram.
Okay, awesome. And I will definitely share.
If you have a company, I also work with companies giving workshops. So that's something people like to experience as well sometimes.
Yeah, that's also an interesting way of impacting a lot of people at the same time. There's do company sessions and then afterwards getting in touch and see if you can continue on that with individual sessions and guide people that way. So it's definitely a big opportunity, I see.
Definitely. So many ways to work with me.
Yeah. I'll share all the information in the comments so that people can find you. So really, really nice. And I think we have a really great conversation that can inspire a lot of people, and I hope it did. So I would like to thank you for being here today, taking the time. And I wish you a lot of success in the mission that you have. And I'm looking forward to experience it myself very soon.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the time, for the energy, and hope to see you soon.